Marlins took the lead 6-4 in that game. Then the Cardinals came back and smoked them. So yeah, all of a sudden a big swing.
Well, let's take a look at the starting lineup tonight for Jim Riggleman's Washington Nationals. Leading it off in center field, Justin Maxwell. Christian Guzman, the shortstop, bats second. Ryan Zimmerman hits third, followed by Adam Dunn, the cleanup batter. Josh Willingham's in left field batting fifth. Elijah Dukes, he's had a good run lately. He'll bat sixth. Josh Bard hits seventh. Alberto Gonzalez, the second baseman, bats eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is right-hander Garrett Mock, who for the second time in less than 10 days will face off against Cliff Lee, who's making his ninth start in a Phillies uniform. 6-2 with a 3.11 earned run average.
In his last three starts, he's really struggled, though, with 15 innings, 16 earned runs, and a 9 earned run average after being lights out to start out his Phillies career in the first 5. Here's our report on Cliff from Southwest Airlines. He has a lot of different pitches. He has really struggled lately with throwing the ball where he wants to, but he is a quick worker. He's fun to play behind, and in the first 5 starts of the Phillies, he looked like he could throw it wherever he wanted to, whenever he wanted to. In the last 3 games, he's been a little more human.
Yeah, first 5 starts, his ERA was 0.68.
Time now for our Key State Chrysler Jeep Keys to tonight's game. It's really nice here, Citizens Bank Park. 20 games left, 19 days, one at a time. That's the way Charlie Manuel talks about his team playing them. And here we go, the Nationals tonight, and get Cliff Lee back on track. He was better his last time out, but it was kind of a hang-in-there win for him.
Well, he'll go to work against Justin Maxwell to start this ball game off. Maxwell overall hitting .204 in a Nationals uniform with a couple home runs and 3 RBIs. But a lot of those at-bats were at the first part of the season. Since he's been recalled from the minor leagues, he's hitting .280. And you see what he's done against the Phillies here in 2009. One ball and 1 strike the count. The Nationals as a team commit to the ball game 43 games under 500. They're going to wind up losing 100 games this year unless they go on an unbelievable hot streak to finish off the season. So these last few games for them, they're just going to try to figure some things out about certain positions. And center field, where Maxwell is a spot where Jim Riggleman is trying to figure out who's going to be there every day next year.
And Ian Desmond, who played very well against the Phillies in the game and well over the weekend, not playing tonight, but he conceivably could be their shortstop, as Lee throws a really good off-speed pitch there and strikes out Maxwell. A good way to start the game. Here's the Nationals. Tom talking about the Nationals and being so far under 500, and that's why. You see where they rank in a lot of categories, especially that last one, 16th in ERA. But the good news for them, they're not going to lose 120, and that's what everybody's talking about for a long time with them this year, that they were going to get after the Mets all-time record, and that's not going to happen.
Christian Guzman swings at the first pitch and pops it into foul territory, first base side, and it's a couple rows back, so the count is 0-1. That gentleman was able to wait for the baseball as Ryan Howard was sprinting after it. Guzman hitting .296. He has 6 home runs and 50 RBIs. He's going to be one of the holdovers next year, at least on paper, because he has 1 more year left in his contract, which was extended last season. He has done well against the Phillies this year. He's hitting .366 against the Phillies. 15 for 41.
He can really be a tough out, and has hit Lee well.
One ball and 2 strikes the count.
He doesn't walk anybody either. He hasn't walked anybody in his last 5 starts, 36 straight innings without a base on ball. So he is right around the plate, and hitters know it.
And only 6 walks overall in a Phillies uniform. And it remains 1-2 to Christian Guzman. That important series against the Marlins, at least from a Phillies standpoint, Guzman had 3 hits and 10 at-bats. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, they had to battle the rain in that game on Sunday. Finally did get called in the 9th inning after they had another horrendous rain. I was listening to that game going home, and you could hear the thunder in the background. It was loud.
And a changeup swung on and missed. Guzman is the second straight strikeout victim for Cliff Lee to start this ball game.
Good pitch. Tom said a changeup, and it came off a couple pitches in on him. In, and then you see the changeup grip there with the splits in the fingers. There it goes down and away. Strikes him out. Well, we saw a good changeup on Sunday, huh, Pedro?
Oh, we did. Pedro Martinez, 130 pitches against the New York Mets, and he was outstanding.
Was that a great show?
It was electric.
It really was. That was special.
With 2 away, Ryan Zimmerman is the batter. And Zimmerman takes a pitch for a strike, and it's 0-1. Zimmerman with 29 home runs, a career high, 94 runs batted in. You see what he did in August. He had a very good month average-wise, pretty good with the homers, but he has cooled off somewhat here in September. But always a dangerous hitter.
He's trying a lot of different pitches here in the first inning. Breaking ball, that looked like a cutter or a slider. Good changeup, moving his fastball around, hitting his spots pretty well.
And Lee has worked ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
And he hardly gives him time to step out.
How about that little head pop right there by Lee? He did some kind of a movement with his head, trying to get Carlos Ruiz to refigure the sides. And he foul tips one into the glove, and Cliff Lee strikes out the side here in the first inning. An assortment of different pitches, the curve, the cutter, the changeup, and that final one was a fastball that Zimmerman fouled into the glove of Ruiz. There's the first strikeout. Here's number 2, and finally number 3. Cliff Lee. Looked like it took about 8 minutes to get the side in order. 1, 2, 3 on strikes. And here's Charlie Manuel's starting lineup as we get ready for the bottom of the first. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Shane Victorino bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by the cleanup batter, Ryan Howard. Raul Ibanez, the left fielder, bats fifth. Jason Worth is the number 6 hitter. Pedro Feliz, the third baseman, bats seventh, followed by Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, hitting 8th. And batting 9th and pitching, of course, and he's turned into a pretty good hitter. It's Cliff Lee, and they'll face right-hander Garrett Mock, who is making his 25th appearance overall this year, his 12th start. He is 3-7 with a 5.75 earned run average.
There are the overall numbers on him. Here's a Southwest Airlines scouting report. Left-handed hitters, 346 against him, and he can get wild. He started out throwing a lot of fastballs in that game last week, and they hit him. And then he went to his off-speed stuff, settled down, pitched pretty well.
Here's Jimmy, who's 5 for 17 on this homestand with 3 runs batted in. He'll lead things off. Jimmy has 32 career leadoff home runs, which is second among active players to Alfonso Soriano, who has 54. Soriano hasn't really led off those since the month of June for the Chicago Cubs. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. You think about Jimmy having 32 leadoff home runs. The all-time record is Ricky Henderson, who had 81 career leadoff home runs. That is unbelievable.
That really is. Bobby Bonds had a lot in the years that he was leading off. don't know what his number was, but I would have to think he has a pretty good number.
Well, Craig Biggio is third. He had 53 leadoff home runs. And Jimmy lines one toward right field, heading toward the corner. That one is off the base of the wall. It eludes Dukes momentarily, and Jimmy is going to be at second with his 37th double of the season. That's a nice start for Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, and he got that fastball. A lot of fastballs from Mock to Jimmy, and that ball just wasn't high enough to get out of here because he certainly did scald it. See how hard he hits this. That little short swing, fastball down, and it hits about 3/4 of the way up the wall, right off the fastball 91 sign.
Well, he's now in scoring position, and here's Shane Victorino. Victorino, a .300 hitter with 10 homers and 58 runs batted in. And he's just trying to get Jimmy over to third in this spot. But he works himself ahead 1-0. Josh Bard walks that ball out to the mound to talk to Garrett Mock. Victorino not only is hitting .349 against the Nationals this year, but he and Jimmy have combined to score 23 runs against Washington this season. That's a good amount of runs.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they're 12-3 against them.
The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Ed Summers of Westchester. If the Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Ed's going to win $100.
Victorino looking to try and pull the ball. And as you should in this spot, look for anything either middle in, something off speed, something you can handle and pull, and get Jimmy Rollins to third and get him in and get the lead.
Shane bunts it to the left of the plate. One play and one play only. Jimmy's over to third. It's a sacrifice for Victorino. And there's one away here in the bottom of the first inning.
It looked like Victorino decided that was the way he wanted to get him over, was to bunt, and puts the ball out in front of the plate. Jimmy Rollins read it perfectly because that ball's on the ground fast, so he can break from second base, not have to worry about getting doubled on anything in the air. So they get him over, and now you won't get him in.
So Shane gets credited with a sacrifice. Jimmy's at third. Here's Chase Utley. Chase with 89 runs batted in this year. 10 of those runs have come against the Washington Nationals. And they're giving the Phillies this run with the infield back all the way around. The shortest infielder is Ryan Zimmerman over at third. He's about a step behind the bag. So Jim Riggleman is conceding a run on a ground out just to make sure this doesn't turn out to be a big inning for the Phillies.
You just don't ever want to play the infield in the first inning unless there's just some lights out guy out there.
Good changeup, 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the umpires for tonight's ball game. Cowboy Joe West is behind the plate. He's the crew chief. Ed Rapuato's at first. Paul Schreiber's over at second, and Paul Nart is around at third. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Chase as he fouls that one off the left side. Runners in scoring position has obviously been a problem for the Phillies this year, and particularly since the All-Star break. It's amazing. You look at the leaders in batting average with runners in scoring position, and Charlie's talked at length about this. I mean, the Phillies don't have anybody in the top 20, but the Marlins have 3 guys in the top 20, and the Braves have 5 guys in the top 20. I guess that's why they've been hanging around. That and some pretty good pitching.
Well, boy, the Braves rotation is really outstanding. That's what you're talking about with some of these categories. Runners in scoring position, National League 11th, Major League Baseball 24th. And that's one of those things when you've been watching it all year, you go, yeah, that makes sense.
One and two the count to Chase. And he lines one over the head of Gonzalez. It's a right field, a base hit. Utley has picked up his 90th RBI of the year as Jimmy crosses the plate, and the Phils lead it 1-0.
Sometimes people want to know, how do you recognize pitches when you're at the ballpark? One of the things I always tell them is, if you see a hitter get way out in front, it's off speed, because major league hitters do not get out in front of fastballs. And if you watch this swing by Chase Utley, this is obviously an off-speed pitch. It's a changeup. Now watch how out front he is. His whole body's going forward, hands are going forward, but he kept him back just enough to be able to loop that line drive over the second baseman Gonzalez's head and get Jimmy Rollins in. So good job of get him over, get him in.
86 runs scored now for Jimmy. Here's Ryan Howard. And Ryan checks his swing at a curveball and hits it foul. That was as excuse me a swing as you're going to see from Ryan.
And he may have gotten a double on that if he'd have put it down the third baseline on that check swing. At least a single, because you see all that room over there. Now they can't play the same shift on Ryan right now they played on Utley, because there's a runner at first base. Chase is there, and they have to keep the infielders in the dirt area, try and make a play at second base, and possibly a double play.
Outside and high, ball 2. 2-1 to Ryan.
Mock is trying to throw some off-speed stuff. Utley hit the base hit on a changeup. That was a changeup.
See what Ryan has done on this homestand. 3 for 14. No homers yet on this homestand. And he pulls that one towards second. Gonzalez to second for 1. And Zimmerman, who used to be a shortstop, turns that like a shortstop. And the inning is over. 4-5-3 on the putout of the double play. Phil settled for 1. We go to the second. During the 2009 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. So far, $8,200 has been donated with victories alone. Here's Adam Dunn. They start him off with something slow, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Dunn with 37 home runs and 99 runs batted in. And as you saw, he's riding a 5-game hitting streak into this game.
Walks a lot, strikes out a lot. This is the problem Lee's had lately. He's not been getting left-handed hitters out there. They're hitting at a 357 clip. And the reason is he's been getting pitches out over the plate. It started in that Atlanta game when Garrett Anderson hurt him with a home run. And the left-handed hitters have been hitting him a little bit since then.
2-2 the count.
And that was out over the plate, but with Dunn, that's not a bad pitch because it was up, and he has a hole up in his swing. You get out over the plate about belt high with him, look out. Park can't hold him anywhere either. He can hit it out the other way.
It's that one in the air to right center field. It's pretty deep. Jason Worth, though, has a beat on it, and one away. So 4 up, 4 down for Cliff Lee. Hey, the Houston Astros will kick off the final homestand of the 2009 regular season on Monday, September 28th at 7:05. Now, if you come into that game, it is the final Hatfield Dollar Dog Night, but it's sold out. There are tickets, though, available for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All 3 of those games are at 7:05 as well. And you can log on to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets right now. 7 games left after this series here at home. Josh Willingham takes a strike.
People were saying today, boy, didn't this season fly? I said, yeah, they do when you have a good year. When you're having a bad year, it seems like they'll never end. And this season has really flown by.
And Lee is quickly ahead. No balls and 2 strikes to Willingham. Willingham hitting .278 with 22 homers and 59 runs batted in. Acquired from the Marlins along with Scott Olson during the offseason. And he hits that one in the air to center field. Plenty of room for Shane. 2 fly balls, 2 outs here in the second.
A couple of fly balls with the crowd going ooh a little bit when they're up, but he's kept them off the barrel, both of them. Both those, I think Dunn hit his in a little bit, and that one was off the end of the bat. So good location by Cliff Lee, good movement.
With 2 away, Elijah Dukes is the batter. Dukes hitting .258 with 8 homers and 54 runs batted in. And he smokes that one to straightaway center field. Victorino gets turned around but finds the ball, and the inning is over. Well, once again, it didn't get barreled by Elijah Dukes. 1-2-3 go the Nationals. Phillies lead it 1-0. Online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps like those, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. And now check out the newly added Phillies Authentics section, featuring authenticated game-used items, memorabilia, as well as autographed items. Get your gear straight from the source. ShopThePhillies.com shop. Raul Ibanez has had an unbelievable year against the Washington Nationals. I mean, look at those numbers.
Amazing.
429, 8 homers, 21 RBIs.
Hit a lot of those home runs down in Washington too, Tom, and that is a big ballpark.
A .905 slugging percentage.
Well, that many homers. That's it's amazing.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to him.
And he's still kind of caught in between it. You see, he's getting better at times and then regresses a little bit, and it's all about timing with it.
I think one of the things I marveled at was, as good as he's been against the Nationals, and he's been really good as you saw, There are two other guys that have a higher batting average than him. Carlos Lee of the Astros and Martin Prado of the Braves. And a line drive, base hit, and another one for Ibanez. Heading down the line into foul territory. He's going to have a leadoff double. Second straight inning that the Phillies have a leadoff double. Last time they scored. And for Ibanez, 31 doubles this season.
I have to wonder what they have to do to get him out. Because Mock made a good pitch to him, and Raul hit it off the end of the bat. Zimmerman comes out of nowhere. This guy is so good at third. It looked like he might pick it. Doesn't. Gets it by him, and Raul continues his onslaught against Washington pitching. You see, he just kind of dropped the bat on that and gets himself a double.
Oh, the runner in scoring position and nobody out. Jason Worth is the hitter. Jason this year, 3 home runs against the Nationals, including one real long one into the grass in center field at Nationals Park the last time these two teams faced each other.
That one with Tyler Clippard, one of their relief pitchers. See, he sees a lot of pitches.
And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1.
Had a graphic up the other night on the game on Sunday night, and Dunn, Worth, Zimmerman, they were all in the top 5 of pitches seen.
Well, and Jason, I mean, it's been all season long. You know, it's not just it's been since the All-Star break. It's been since the start of the year.
Well, he was that kind of player last year. Just wasn't quite as noticeable because he didn't play as much as he is now.
2-1 the count to him, and he pops it up. Let's see if Dunn or Bard have a play, and they run out of room. And that evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Ryan Howard was the other guy in that top 5 the other night. So 4 of them are here in this game tonight, of guys that see a lot of pitches.
So Jason has seen 4 already. He'll see his 5th one here. So that goes right along the lines of that graphic we just saw. And he stays alive by shooting that one foul.
That was a pitch he could hit to the right side, but he kind of pulled off and then hit it off the end of the bat foul. Much tougher to do that when you have 2 strikes on you. Try to do it earlier in the count. When you get 2 strikes, you know, then you get into some emergency swings.
Three and 2 the count now to Jason, with Pedro Feliz waiting on deck. Pedro's had a pretty good homestand. And off the end of the bat, a little flare to center field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Raul's holding up at third. He read that well, but still, Maxwell came on it very quickly. And the Phils have runners on first and third. Already the 4th hit of the night for the Phillies.
Pretty good plate coverage there by Jason Worth on a pitch away, pulling off it a little bit, as you'll see. And a breaking ball, and he hits it right off the end of the bat, made contact. A lot of good things can happen when you make contact, and in that case, a little blooper. Raul, as Tom said, did read that well, but with nobody out and Maxwell coming on it that quickly, no way to score.
So 2 runners on. Good job by Maxwell to keep Raul at third base. Phillies already lead it 1-0. And here's Pedro Feliz. 11 homers and 69 runs batted in this year. Got to keep an eye on Jason Worth in this spot. Jason has stolen 13 bases this year. And Pedro takes one a little low. Pedro is the Phillies' leading hitter with runners in scoring position, partly because of that number right there. And he's ahead 2-0.
Really playing Pedro as an opposite field hitter. Kind of surprising. He pulls a lot of balls towards left and left center, especially now that he's ahead in the count, but they're staying with that opposite field defense. Center fielder Maxwell playing him towards right center.
Carlos waits on deck.
Charlie will give 3-0 green lights, especially in RBI situations where a fly ball gets you a run. See if he gives him one.
Outside ball 4. 4 pitches. That was a slider or a cutter with the count 3-0. And the bases are now loaded for Carlos Ruiz. Hey, tonight on Sports Night, more details on Jeff Garcia's return to the Eagles roster. Plus, John Borick reports from the ballpark of the Phillies National Series. Get all the news Philly fans need to know tonight after the Phillies post-game show. Only on Comcast Sports Night.
Yeah, that ball really moved away from Pedro Feliz. You could see him flinch when he threw it. And it looked like a breaking ball of some kind. Maybe it was a cutter, but you wonder why he would do that.
Steve McCatty, the Nationals pitching coach, took over for Randy St. Clair before the midway point of this season. Joe West probably singing a tune in his head as he walks out to the mound to break up this conversation.
First album was Blue Cowboy. I don't know what the second one was.
That's a good question. I have it.
Yeah.
Because he was nice enough to give everybody copies of it. Where Joe would sing but also play a little guitar.
Yeah, Joe's a North Carolina boy, and he loves his country music.
Raul Ibanez on third, Jason Worth on second. Pedro Feliz is over at first base, and Carlos Ruiz will get a chance to bat with nobody out. And the Phillies leading it 1-0. See what Carlos has done his last 23 games. Trying to drive home a couple here. And he lays off a breaking ball that's in there for a strike. It's 0-1.
Wow. First pitch slider with the bases loaded, nobody out. And he got it over.
Good second half for Carlos, who has the 8th best batting average against the Nationals in the league. See what he has done against the Nationals in 9 games, a .381 average. Chops that one. Fair ball inside the third base bag over the head of Zimmerman. 2 runs are going to score. They're going to try to score Pedro. He's around third, heading for home. It's a bases clearing double for Carlos Ruiz, and the Phillies lead it 4-0. That's a good job by Pedro Feliz to get in position to score on that one.
Yeah, and you just talked about his numbers against Washington. They had Zimmerman well up at third base because they're thinking about coming home to first on a double play there with nobody out. Look how close Zimmerman is. So when this baby's chopped like that, he has no chance to make a play. And Pedro running all the way. The ball got into the corner on Willingham, and they clear him on that hit. Wow, that is production there.
So still nobody out. Phillies lead it 4-0. Lee is up there to bunt. And he bunts it foul. The count is 0-1. Cliff Lee has 7 hits in 23 at bats. And right now he's just trying to get Carlos Ruiz over to third base. And this is the part of the game that he has been trying to work on, is sacrificing.
He does have some sacrifices in his career too, but he stabs at it. And he just hasn't bunted all that much, and you know, it's a matter of seeing if he can see him stab. It's the old catch the ball with the bat, and it sounds simple, and it is for some, and it isn't for others.
Jimmy just gave him a piece of advice as he was in the on-deck circle. Cliff turned around and looked back at him.
Well, he stabs at it a little bit, and the bat's behind home plate, and that combination will get you a foul ball almost every time. And turn him loose for 2 strikes.
Does have 7 hits.
Yeah. Well, Charlie is thinking right now, you know what? I have a better chance of him getting him over to third by pulling the ball here. Lee, when he bunts, is tentative. He's anything but tentative when he swings.
We got a pretty good pitch to hit there too.
And he rips at it too. You know that. You watch him up there. You know, he crouches a little bit. He gets off the end of the bat, and he wants to swing.
Toward left center field, Maxwell coming on, makes the sliding grab. He was playing shallow, so that play turned out to be easier for him. And it's still a runner at second base. Hey fans, register now through noon tomorrow at Phillies.com for postseason ticket opportunities. Now fans only need to register one time to be eligible for all 3 rounds: the Divisional Series, the League Championship Series, and the World Series. Winners will be randomly selected and notified by email on a later date. This registration is the only method of public distribution for 2009 postseason tickets. Jimmy doubled his first time up and came around to score. And he swings over a breaking ball in this at bat. 25 pitches for Mock in this inning, and Saul Rivera is already up and loosening, and he's about to be joined by a left-hander in the bullpen for the Washington Nationals.
Karate.
Karate, a guy they got for the Dodgers a few weeks ago.
They have 4 left-handers available out there, including young Ross Detweiler, who is a starting pitcher.
Jimmy back toward the middle. That's a base hit into center field. Ruiz around third, heading for home. The throw cut off by Dunn. An RBI single for J-Roll. He's 2 for 2, and the Phillies are up 5-0.
Yeah, Sam Perlaza gambled there with Maxwell playing so shallow in center field, and then Maxwell just fired it straight into the ground. Sam has done such a good job coaching third this year for the Phillies. He does so many other things that nobody sees the way he teaches, but he is a really good third base coach. Fastball back through the middle by Jimmy. Maxwell is on this thing in a hurry, and then his throw is a worm killer. He basically, I don't know that he even reached the dirt.
I think that's why Dunn had to pick it off, because there was no shot to get Ruiz at the plate.
Yeah, it may have just reached the edge of the grass, but it went straight into the ground.
Victorino sacrificed his first time up, and he chops that one over toward the hole at short. Zimmerman's got it for 1, and Jimmy's retired for the second out.
Maybe he slipped. I don't know whether he didn't get a grip on it, but watch, he's got a shot at him. Straight. No, it didn't. It didn't make the grass. It barely made the bag at second. You see it live, and then you're trying to figure out what happened with that, and he either didn't have a grip or something went wrong there for that thing to go straight down like that.
Well, 2 away, and here's Chase, who singled home the first run for the Phillies. They've scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings tonight.
Well, that's great to see them jump on the Nationals, because Washington has been a tough team for them, and you know they're still going to stay after the Phillies tonight. But they score a lot of runs. And they're coming off a good weekend, as Tom mentioned, where they beat the Marlins 2 out of 3 down in Florida.
Victorino back diving for the tag. Shane with 23 stolen bases this year. Phillies still have the best percentage in the National League in stealing bases. Their success rate is the best. And Chase lines one to left, slicing back toward Willingham, and the inning is over. But 8 men come to the plate. The train kept on moving, with the first 4 hitters reaching safely and scoring for the Phils here in the second. question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan forum section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, who is the last Philly to win the Paul Owens Award, which is for the best minor league player in the Phillies system, while playing third base? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Now, the Paul Owens Award began back in 1986. There's a Player of the Year from the Phillies farm system and a Pitcher of the Year. And as we go to the top of the third with the Phillies on top 5-0, Josh Bard leads it off against Cliff Lee and lines one toward the gap in right center field. And Victorino will let it roll all the way to the wall. And Bard will head to second base with the game's first hit. Well, the Player of the Year this year in the Phillies farm system is a guy that had an unbelievable season in AA and in AAA. He was an Eastern League All-Star, and he is Michael Taylor. Michael, congratulations, and congratulations on being the best dressed guy in this broadcast booth right now.
Thank you very much. It's hard. You guys look good, but
well, I appreciate it.
It happens.
Well, great year, and I know it was a year that you were hoping for to establish yourself more and more at AA, but I don't know if you could have asked for a better season.
Well, I mean, you could. I mean, you could not get out. That would be the best way to do it as an offensive player. But I think that I was able to stay pretty consistent and get better as the year went on and make adjustments. And if you can do that, you can have some modicum of success.
Well, here's Pedro Feliz on a throw from Chase Utley back to Jimmy Rollins. It's not real good base running right there by Josh Bard on the ball that was hit pretty hard.
That's a pretty heads-up play by a pretty good second baseman, though.
That's the second time he's done that this year in a play like that. One other time he did it in a huge spot in the game against the Braves. This time he does it, and Bard, he's figuring, hey, it's 5-0. They're not going to worry about me going to third base right now. And he didn't go on contact because the ball was in the air so long, so he held there in case it was a double play. And I hate to say it, but he ran like a catcher.
Yeah, he might have to patent that because he keeps doing that in big spots. And as a player, you're taught if the ball's on the right side to move up, and at least kind of found a little loophole in there.
Yeah, he has. And Pedro did a nice job tracking this throw and then getting it back to Jimmy for the first down. So runner on first, one away.
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you something. Here goes his bunt down. He's going to throw him out. You guys, when that trading deadline came along, your name was out there a lot, and you got to see that. Now, what was that like for you to see your name mentioned that much?
It was exciting, to be honest with you. I mean, it's the first time in your career where you're on a major network or sort of being mentioned along during Phillies games or on ESPN and things that you watch growing up. So really, for the first time, you see your name on TV, and like you said, it breeds a little bit of that excitement and kind of lets you know that you're getting close. You're getting closer to getting able to do something like this and play out here in front of these kind of fans.
Well, and you talked about consistency and the fact that you were consistent in AA and then carried it over to AAA. That must have felt great when the season wound down.
Well, I mean, anytime you move or change levels, there's always that question of, how are you going to compete? How are you going to make that adjustment to the new level of competition? I mean, as you go higher, invariably, it gets harder. And, you have this confidence, but at the same time, there's nothing like doing it.
Yeah.
So, to go up there and to have some success, in a short time period is nice. And, it gives me some confidence, and also a set of things to go back and work on this offseason and some confidence that, I can have that kind of success and even more success at that level and, hopefully eventually transition to this one.
We've had a lot of guys sit up here in this booth with us over the years that have won the award. They played in the major leagues. They're playing in the major leagues right now. What's it like for you to come here and see this atmosphere?
Well, I think that, the energy in the ballpark is palpable. I mean, that's the first thing I noticed when I got on the field is just you can feel the passion from the fan base, and you can feel how much, they enjoyed what the team did last year and what they're doing this year, and hopefully what, they and hopefully me continue to do in the future. And, that's really exciting as a player because you play this game to be able to play in front of people who care and to be able to play for championships and to be able to play for people that have this kind of passion that's most exciting around their team.
3-1 the count to Justin Maxwell with a runner on second and 2 away here in the top of the third. Maxwell struck out his first time up against Cliff Lee, and he pops that one up foul and out of play. Well, the other thing too, Michael, is that when you see the energy in the ballpark and also see what this team has done, as a guy coming up, it's got to make you feel good that there's something something there at the end of the tunnel from a competition standpoint too.
Well, sometimes when you're in minors, it's hard to kind of see or feel that carrot at the end of the rainbow. I mean, especially when you're playing behind some pretty fantastic players. But like you said, when you get to actually come here, and this is my first time being at the ballpark during a game. The first time I get to feel sort of, like I said, the energy of the ballpark. So, yeah, it's real exciting. I mean, you want to, take off this headset and get down there and play as soon as possible. That'd be nice, but that's not how it works.
Well, Alberto Gonzalez was just pegged by that ground ball off the bat of Justin Maxwell, and the troubles continue for Jim Riggleman and his squad. Cliff Lee will take it. And, Michael, best of luck. We look forward to seeing you here in Philadelphia.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Michael Taylor, our guest up here in the booth. We're going to talk to Kyle Drabeck, the pitcher of the year. We're going to do that when we return. All Owens Award winners were this year in the Phillies farm system. We've already talked to Michael Taylor, who had 320 this year combined between AA and AAA with 20 homers and 84 RBIs. And how about our pitcher of the year, the Phillies system? He made 23 starts between single A and AA, and Kyle Drabeck was 12-3 with an ERA just over 3. And I think more importantly than anything else on that line, the number of innings that he was able to pitch this year, as Ryan Howard leads things off here in the bottom of the third. And Kyle joins us up here in the booth, and I think that's the big thing, Kyle. You showed you were healthy, and you put up real consistent numbers from one level to the next.
The rehab trainers for helping me to get healthy again, and to be able to come back and pitch as many innings as I did.
Well, and also to be able to throw with the strength that you threw. I mean, the fastball seemed to be consistent the entire year, too.
Yeah, I mean, the fastball, I think, was back to where it was last year, so I was real happy about that. And I think altogether my stuff might have gotten a little bit better after the Tommy John.
That's good. I mean, that's people talked about that too. That sometimes when you have that surgery after the layoff, you do seem a little stronger.
You know, a lot of people I've talked to said that they have gotten stronger, and that kind of helped me relax a little bit during the rehab, and just to go out there and rehab as hard as I could so I could come back stronger.
You know, I was talking to you before we went on the air that saw your dad pitch so many games, and what a great pitcher your dad, Doug Drabeck, was. Almost pitched a no-hitter against the Phillies one time, in fact, when he was with the Pirates. He had, without that, one of the great hooks you'll ever see. He used to throw that at will almost for a strike to hitters. You throw a curveball, too. Did he help you with that?
You know what? He didn't help me with it.
Wow.
He kind of let me go about it my own way. But if he found something that he didn't like, he would definitely change it. Let me know about it. But he did have a good one. He thinks he still does, but we all know he doesn't.
He did have a good one, though,
He had
Kyle.
a really good one.
He's right. He did.
Raul hits that ball hard, but right on Alberto Gonzalez, so 2 away here in the third inning. We were talking to Michael, Kyle, about making that transition from one level to the other. You made the transition from single A to double A. What was the biggest difference from one level to the other?
The hitters. You know, they take a lot more good pitches than they did in high A. Say I threw a curveball in the dirt. Someone in high A might have swung at it, and then double A, they really don't swing at it. And you're just thinking to yourself, how did they not swing at that?
Well, here's Jason Worth with 2 away here in the bottom of the third. Jason singled and scored his first time up.
Hey, you were a heck of a hitter in high school. Do you still like to get a bat in your hand when you're pitching?
Oh, definitely. Coaches have to hold me back sometimes when I try and jump in there for BP, just because I'm a pitcher.
Yeah, I would think you'd be happy to be in a national league with a national league team because you're gonna have a chance to swing the bat up here.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I got called up to Double A, it was one of the more fun things to do was to stand in the box and actually hit.
That's the thing. National League teams, farm teams, get a chance to bat in Double A against National League farm teams.
Yes.
So that is
yeah,
pretty good.
It was a lot of fun, especially when you know other players on the teams and you get to hit against them. And if you do come across a hit, always good to make fun of them a little bit.
All right, now your dad obviously, played in the big leagues, had over 150 wins during his career. But for you, who's the pitcher or player that you like to watch when you were growing up, and still like to watch?
Mainly my dad, but if there was someone else, I'd probably have to say Roger Clemens. Don't know why. I think just because how intense he was when he was out on the mound and how competitive he was. And, I want to be as competitive as I can on the mound.
And he's a Texan. And he's a Texan. Wheels was also asking Michael about, the trade rumors that were going on middle of the year, and you were obviously in the middle of that too. What was that like? I mean, did you talk to your dad about that?
I did. The one main thing he told me was to not really pay attention too much to it because most of them are rumors. And he said just to make sure that I go out there and do what I know how to do on the mound. And so I tried to take that and, every time I crossed the line and got on that mound, try to forget about everything outside of baseball and just worry about what I was doing on the mound.
Guys with your kind of ability, they want to get to the major leagues, obviously. That's your goal. It's your dream. Can you get a little impatient, or are you ready to just take it in increments?
You can get a little impatient, but you just got to know you can't do anything about it. It's out of your hands. You got to go out there and compete and play to try and win a spot up here.
Count is 2 balls and no strikes to Pedro Feliz with a runner on first base. And Pedro takes one in the dirt. Bard does a nice job keeping it around the plate. And it's 3-0, and Pedro has not seen a strike tonight. 7 straight pitches out of the zone.
I'm going to ask you the same thing we talked to Michael about. What's it like to come here and see this ballpark full up like this?
I've been to one game, and it was loud. And I can't even imagine what it'd be like on the field, especially standing on the mound. Just coming here makes me want to work extra hard, try extra hard, do everything harder just so I can get up here as soon as possible.
And it must have been great, too, going from single A to double A, but also to see the energy that's that's in Reading, too, and being able to pitch in front of those kind of crowds, too.
Yeah, definitely a lot more fans in Reading than in Clearwater. And, the fans in Reading are amazing. Always cheering, always behind you. So it was definitely fun to pitch there.
Slow roller up the third base line. That's going to kick foul, and the count is 3-2 now to Feliz.
Hey, what was it for you this year to pitch that game against the Yankees at Tampa? Because they ran the right lineup out there against you.
It was fun. Had a little trouble pitching to them, but it was definitely a fun experience. I was thankful that the Phillies let me go up there and have that chance, and I didn't take it for granted and just learned from it, and knowing that that's where I want to be.
Worth goes, pitches on the inside corner, and a call, strike 3. So Feliz is rung up. The inning comes to a close. Phillies strand 1, and Kyle, congratulations. It's great to see you healthy.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck. Get up here as quick as you can, and we'll hopefully see you in Philadelphia soon. All right, Kyle Drabeck, our guest. The Phillies lead it 5-0 as we go to the 4th. delivered. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Philadelphia Phillies. By Dodge, live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge, grab life. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly. Well, back at Citizens Bank Park, Gary Matthews joins us as we go to the top of the fourth inning. Phillies lead it 5-0. And Lee so far has allowed just the one base hit in the third. Christian Guzman will lead things off. And he takes a breaking ball inside. It's 1-0. Well, Sarge, since we last talked to you, the Phillies won on Sunday night, finished off Sunday afternoon at first, and the Marlins have lost twice, and the Phillies' lead now in the division is up to 7. And you feel a little bit better now going into these last 3 games against Washington.
Yeah, well, I'll feel good is when it's mathematically that no one else can catch them. That's when I'll feel comfortable. You know, I've been through too many instances when you start to look at things and start to count ahead and it just doesn't work out.
Particularly at this time of the year.
Oh, I mean, I'll never forget it when we're going, and with the Cubs, where Jim Fry would say, well, wasn't nothing there, Braves. He said to me, you don't really understand. We got our pitching set up for the World Series. And I said, well, what happens if we don't get there?
That was 84.
Yes.
Yeah. You didn't get there.
And guess what? We didn't get there.
Nope. Lost to the Padres.
You know, and then being here with the Phillies, if we needed Steve Carlton to pitch on a particular day or it was his turn, he's going to pitch to get us in there. Forget who starts for me in the World Series.
Ball 4, and Guzman draws a walk to lead off this 4th inning. That is the first walk issued by Cliff Lee. Hey, during the last few days, we've been talking about the folks who have done such a great job and do a great job behind the scenes here on the Phillies television network. And tonight, we want to talk about the birthday boy, Barry Sell, our technical director. He's 46 today. He's from Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is the sister town from where I'm from, Allentown, New Jersey. And his most memorable game, the 2007 NL East clincher. And that seems to be a favorite for a lot of folks. And a lot of the shots that you see on the Phillies television network, Barry will control them and does such a great job. And Barry, happy birthday, and we thank you for everything that you do. Ryan Zimmerman shoots that one foul. It's 0-2. Zimmerman struck out his only time up, so he's 0 for 1.
Wow. Looked pretty good. Fastball on the inside part of the plate. Zimmerman doing a good job and not swinging at that pitch. That's that cutter that he throws, but that's where he wants it.
On the hands toward right field. Easy play for Jason Worth. One away as Guzman goes back to first. So Jason retires Ryan Zimmerman. And that'll bring Adam Dunn to the plate. Dunn flied out to fairly deep right center field his only time up, so he's 0 for 1. Adam Dunn, Sarge, is 3 home runs away from his 7th consecutive 40 home run season. Now, the only other guys that have hit 40 home runs or more in a year for 7 straight years, you see what Dunn's numbers are since 2004, are Sammy Sosa, Alex Rodriguez, and Babe Ruth, who did it 9 times.
Wow.
I mean, you don't hear much about him because he played in Cincinnati, he played the end of last year in Arizona, but this guy has had himself a good power career.
Yeah, well, when you talk about pitchers or you talk to them and you talk about them pitching to Adam, they know how good this guy is. on his way to another 100 RBIs along with Zimmerman on a last place team. That is good.
See his career numbers. His batting average is well above his career average this year. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to him.
Well, the only thing he doesn't do well is run and play the outfield. He's now moved to first base and trying to learn that position. And that would also be another power position. First base, usually third base. Not so much anymore third base. You got that shortstop and the second base. They've taken over as far as power numbers. Used to be the outfielders along with third base and first base.
Joe West hearing it a little bit from the fans. They thought that pitch was close enough to be called a strike.
He's another one of those umpires at times that have a floating zone.
Three and 2 the count. Josh Willingham waits on deck. Just missed. Carlos Ruiz wanted that one. So did Lee. Takes his mask off. I think he just said to Carlos Ruiz, what's he doing? And it's the second walk of the inning by Cliff Lee, who has now only walked 8 in his Phillies tenure.
See right where this pitch is. Could be a little bit off the corner. Definitely on that pitch. You just want him, though, to be consistent. If that's the zone, that's where you keep it. Don't change it as the innings go on.
So 2 on, 1 away. Here's Josh Willingham, who flied out to center. And the count 1 ball and no strikes to Willingham.
If they start barking at Joe West, I mean, they're not going to get anything that's close. So he's quick to take off the mask. Rabbit ears, meaning that he does hear what is said in the dugout. Short fuse.
Line drive. Foul. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, there's that line drive. You can see right where it hit. That ball was smoked by Willingham as he pulls that ball down the left field line. Hey, these guys have hitters where they're not out of the game. Their thing that has let them down mostly has been their pitching. But you look at their lineup, especially those 2 to about 6. These guys can put the lumber on the ball.
On the inside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Willingham. Did he go? Yes, he did, says Joe West. And there's the second out. That's the 4th strikeout for Cliff Lee. And 2 away. Hey, if you're 30 years old or older, here's your chance of a lifetime. It's Phillies Fantasy Camp from the 20th to the 24th in Clearwater, Florida. The package includes hotel accommodations, practice with and instruction from guys like Mitch Williams, John Kruk, Sarge, Greg Lazinski, and Larry Anderson at the Carpenter Complex. Call 610-520-3400 for more information. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Here's Elijah Dukes. And Dukes works the count in his favor. 1 ball and no strikes.
You know, that curveball that Willingham struck out on the check swing, that's the curveball that he wants to be able to throw. You can get hitters to swing at that when they are ahead in the count, when they have 2 strikes.
It's the first inning where he's kind of fallen behind the hitters a little bit.
Yeah, not knowing exactly where that inside part of the plate is for that strike. You know, when he gets the ball on the inside and he's able to get those for calls, then he's able to come in a little further.
Well, it's upstairs. 3-0 now. The count to Dukes. Josh Bard waits on deck. And there's ball 4, and for just the second time since coming over from the Indians, Cliff Lee has walked 3 in a game.
Rich Doobie's going to go out and just have a little talk with him to settle him down a little bit. Just missing his spots. Well, he wasn't close to Dukes throwing strikes to him. Maybe on those inside pitches, but it might have been off just a hair.
Just trying to give him a breather here.
Just trying to give him a breather, just settle him down. Trying him to go out and just hit his spots.
Well, the bases are loaded. Josh Bard, who doubled his first time up, will bat with the bases loaded here in the top of the 4th inning. That base hit for Bard against Lee was just his second hit in 17 at bats against the Phillies this year. He chops one foul, and the count, no balls and 1 strike.
He hit that ball so hard in the center field, it went right by Victorino. Show you how hard he did hit the ball.
Well, now Lee has worked ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's hacking.
And now this capacity crowd starts to get behind their left-hander. He has struck out 4 so far tonight. This is his first real problem spot of the evening. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Ruiz will touch home plate. The inning is over. Second strikeout of the inning for Cliff Lee. 5th overall. He strads 3. This is a heck of a breaking ball. This is all Josh Bard saw in this at bat. The most fuel-efficient midsize. Drive one today. By Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW. Beautiful night for baseball here in Philadelphia. And folks of all ages enjoying this one. The Phillies lead 5-0. As we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning, Carlos Ruiz leads it off. Carlos has had the big hit of the day. It was a bases clearing double. And that was back in the second inning. So he leads things off against Garrett Mach.
I was wondering why he almost had the infield playing in there. That high chopper got over his head. And if you're really going to trade that double, you see how that got over his head? Look how close he is. If he's back a little bit further, that's a different story. You know, obviously, with the infielders in at the corners, that they were going to go home with it. But then what you do is you give up that chopper when they probably could have gotten two, and for certain one, going to second to first.
Is that a lack of respect for Carlos in that spot?
Well, I don't think so. I just think that they were feeling maybe he wasn't going to be, and he didn't hit it hard like he does this one.
And that one is hit hard toward deep left field. Willingham leaps and he makes the grab.
Yeah, I think that Riggleman was more so playing a hunch as opposed to disrespecting them. I think he respects all of the guys. That ball there, just catching it off the end a little bit. And Willingham had a little more steps to get back. And he makes a fine running grab as he jumps up and nags it.
Oh, one away, and here is Cliff Lee. And Lee pulls it sharply. Nifty hop for Gonzalez, 2 away. So very quickly, Garrett Mach has gotten the first 2 batters out here in the fourth. And we head back to the top of the order for Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy has doubled and scored a run. He's also driven in a run with a single to center. So he's 2 for 2.
J-Roll's been working extra hard on his stroke, going in and swinging it and off the tee, even after batting practice, just to try and get into that groove. So far, it's paid off.
He was taking some early BP today, or maybe was in the cage taking some early tee work today. Chops that one toward first, and that just ate up Adam Dunn. Well, Jimmy's around first, and he runs into Garrett Mach. That's going to be interference, and Jimmy, if he didn't get to second, would have been awarded second base. So he's in scoring position with 2 away.
Now, Adam Dunn is still having problems defensively, and as he moved to first base, you can see, you're right, Tom, this ball just ate him up. Maybe should have came in. He tries to get it on that in-between hop. When that ball is hit, you see he runs right on into Mach. That's automatic interference. You can see he got right at the bag there at the same time. You can see everybody in the dugouts screaming and yelling. Milt Thompson there, first base coach, Lopes.
And Steve McCaddy is coming out to the mound to talk to Garrett Mach with first base open. And with the Phillies already leading at 5-0, bullpen action begins again for the Washington Nationals. Mach has already thrown 74 pitches. Karate, who was up before, is up again for Washington.
Now, Mach was a little upset when he went out of the game, and Washington thought maybe he should have been pitching a little longer. He started off throwing nothing but fastballs. This game here, he's mixed them up some, but hasn't done any good so far.
Well, here's Shane, 0 for 1. Fielder's choices last time up. And he takes one at the knees for a strike. And it's no balls at 2 strikes. Phillies are 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And they've got one in scoring position here with 2 away. Off the end of the bat, he pulls it towards second. Gonzalez will retire Shane, and the inning is over. So the Phillies strand one in scoring position. We head to the 5th. 5-0 Phils. Extensive game breakdown and get the expert analysis of former pitcher Ricky Vitalico. Plus exclusive player reactions on Sloan Toyota Presents Phillies post-game live after the game only on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies leading 5-0 as we go to the top of the 5th inning. And Cliff Lee has basically been in control. He did load the bases up in the 4th with 3 straight walks. And Alberto Gonzalez, who bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up, tried to take a page out of his book against Lee the last time he faced him in Washington when he swung at 3 straight pitches and had 3 doubles.
Those are probably all on fastballs. First pitch swinging.
Opposite way, Jason Worth over, makes the grab. 1 away.
Boy, he catches all those line drives because he does play shallow.
So 1 out here at the top of the 5th inning. You know, some of the folks behind the cameras, as we've talked about, have done amazing work when this ballpark opened. Their views provided such great views for the folks back home. And Rich Cottrell, one of our cameramen who lives here in Philadelphia, is one of those guys that does such great work here at the ballpark. And most memorable game, May 5th of this year. That a boy, Rich. Way to think outside the box. Jason Worth steals home.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Oh, gosh, that was just... Oh, I remember that. Larry Boyle was just fit to be tied.
Well, that was one of the more exciting plays that we've seen this year. And a chopper back toward the middle. Backhanded by Utley. Off balance throw. One hop and it gets past Ryan Howard. And Mott doesn't realize it. Ruiz backs it up, fires to second, and he is a dead duck. That's a guy that's not used to running the bases right there.
Well, I'll say, he must have thought he was still in Little League where you just keep running until they tag you out. And the play's right in front of him to be able to not go to second base. Riggleman not even looking over there. That ball hit right up the middle there. Chase makes a fine play, but not able to dig it out. Howard, and you're right, Ruiz, and that's why you back that play up with nobody on base. And he's there in good fashion, fakes that throw, and then he throws it right on the money. DOA. See you later, Mock.
I think Carlos was surprised that Mock took off, and he also had to avoid Marquise Grissom on that throw, the first base coach. Jason Worth toward the line, inning over. Now Cliff Lee helped out by the poor base running by Garrett Mock, and also the outstanding defense from Carlos Ruiz. This is a heck of a throw. And it's time to bring you up to speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewinds. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. So the Phillies had a very good second inning. They scored 4 runs against Garrett Mock, who's still out there as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And they'll face Chase Utley, who singled and drove in a run his first time up. Flied out to left his last time to the plate. And he takes a pitch for a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, he hit that breaking ball in for an RBI, driving in J-Row. With 2 strikes, hit a good pitch. Didn't overswing, just kind of served the ball into right field.
90 RBIs now for Chase on that base hit. Already 100 runs scored. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him here. The end of the bat toward left center field. Willingham and Maxwell are there. It's Willingham who makes the call. And there's the first out here in the 5th inning. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Braves have taken a 4-0 lead over the Mets. Adam LaRoche has a home run, a double in that game. Tommy Hanson starting in that ball game for Atlanta. And it's in the top of the 5th. The Braves are 7.5 games back of the Phillies in the National League East. The Phillies have 1 more series against Atlanta, and that will be on the next road trip. Here's Ryan Howard, who's 0 for 2. He's grounded into a double play and then bounced out to Adam Dunn at first his last time up.
Those Braves went into St. Louis and really took care of some business, beating one of their better pitchers, Chris Carpenter, and really knocked him out. That's what they did.
That one's hit hard on 1 hop, backhanded by Dunn. And Mock covers 2 away. That's the thing at this point in the year, too, Sarge. I mean, you think about some of the matchups, and baseball could be this way where you expect one thing, like the Nationals losing the series to the Marlins. And you expected the Braves would lose the series to the Cardinals, but then the opposite happens.
Absolutely. You know, Bobby Cox, the manager of the Braves, is not going to let those guys die. And they do have pretty good pitching. That's why the more games you're in front when you go in, the better. Puts pressure on them to have to win every single game.
Raul Ibanez takes a pitch low and inside. Raul's 1 for 2. He doubled and scored his first time up, grounded out to second his last time to the plate. Davey Lopes. It's 2-1. We showed you Raul's numbers during his first at bat. We mentioned that his batting average against the Nationals is 3rd highest in the National League. He has 8 home runs. That leads the National League against Washington. And his RBIs, 21, is second to Hanley Ramirez. I mean, the Marlins, just like the Phillies, have really pounded the Nationals this year.
There it is. There's that pitching, and it would show you that they're getting pounded, not just with the Phils, but other teams.
Phillies have scored 106 runs against Washington this year. Jason Worth has driven in a few of those runs. He's on deck. The Marlins have scored 115 runs against Washington this year. The next closest team, Atlanta, they scored 54 against them. As Raul stays alive, so the Phillies and the Marlins have really feasted on Washington pitching this year.
Well, you know, they supposedly have help on the way, but you're hoping that it gets there before your other players get too old. That's why with the Phillies having a core of players that are almost around the same age, that's what you want to be able to get. Get it back there by Ibanez.
Well, speaking of these Nationals, the Phillies will open against Washington next year on the road and then at home. In fact, the Phillies will open and close the season on the road for the first time in 4 years. Their interleague opponents include the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Twins, and the Indians. The Twins and the Indians will be here at Citizens Bank Park, and the Blue Jays, and they have two 10-game homestands. The first is at the end of April. The second one is in the middle of August. And the schedules were released today around Major League Baseball. Jason Worth, the batter, he's 2 for 2. He has singled twice, scored a run. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Those pitchers continue to do the same thing to Jason Worth. First pitch of the game, always up and in just to get him off. Next pitch is a slider, trying to get him on his heels.
Steve McCatty's going out to the mound. What's this about, Sarge?
I have no clue, since maybe they're trying to get the other pitchers ready. But he's been wearing a path all year going to that pitcher's mound.
There's 2 outs. The count's 2-0. It's kind of interesting. Well, speaking of next year in 2010, don't get shut out of the games you want to see. You could be on deck to be among the first Phillies fans to lock in your seats with a new 2010 season ticket plan. Call 215-463-5000 or log on anytime at Phillies.com. The Phillies are now taking deposits for full and partial ticket plans. 2 away, 2-0 the count to Jason Worth, and Steve McCatty is back to the dugout. Maybe he just told him, hey, listen, go after him.
Well, has been nibbling, and when you nibble, you get in trouble.
He does go after him there, and delivers a fastball. A shot to the upper deck, caught by that fan right there. Nice grab.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there it goes.
Well, she's only doing what she sees them do all the time, and that is to throw the ball back on the field. But you know, when that happens, the parent is never able to catch them before they end up doing it.
And there's a whole host of fans underneath that gentleman right there who are looking for another souvenir. That was a pretty good arm, young lady.
It sure was.
2-2 the count.
Someone else gets a ball. Boy, he just missed that ball as it fouls that ball. Oh, nice grab.
That's a really
back.
good grab.
She says, well, let me have it. Let me have it, Dad. Thanks. Well, here it goes.
Jason skies it right center field. Maxwell under it, and the inning is over. So the Phillies strand one here in the 5th inning. We go to the 6th. That little girl is going to be looking for baseball for the rest of the game. Pedro Martinez. After average results over his first 4 starts, mixed with rain-shortened outings, Pedro has turned the right arm up a notch. The present is looking more and more like his past, pitching later into games and posting a 1.66 ERA over the 3 latest performances. When he isn't on the mound, he likes to have fun. On the mound, it's all business. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, there is Pedro, who threw 8 innings on Sunday night, 130 pitches. Boy, was he outstanding. 7 strikeouts, 6 hits over those 8 innings. He'll get an extra off day with the off day yesterday before his next start. And speaking of Phillies starters, Jay Happ threw a bullpen yesterday for the Phillies. Said he felt great today. There's Jay, and he'll hopefully throw another bullpen in the next day or two and possibly get a chance to get back into this rotation. But in his absence, Jamie Moyer has pitched very well in 2 starts. And of course, Pedro, who was not pitching for Jay, but the rest of the starters kind of picked things up, and Pedro's been outstanding.
Yeah, he talked about he knew the circumstances, knowing that Charlie didn't want to go to the bullpen, and especially early. And boy, did he put on a performance. He's starting to get the fastball where it's going up. He's up shooting that to those hitters. Very difficult pitch to hit, and you only get that by throwing harder velocity.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Christian Guzman. 0 for 1. Toward third base, that's a foul ball. Sarge, there was a lot of talk about Pedro's outing, the fact that he threw 130 pitches on Sunday, which is, I think, was the most he's thrown since his late 20s. And you talked to him about that, and he said he told you something pretty interesting today, didn't he?
Well, he said he was having fun. Yeah, and whatever it takes, though, I mean, for him, when he goes out on the mound, and those guys, they demand the respect for the manager, same as Greg Maddux when he was pitching. Hey, man, how do you feel? You okay? And they'll tell you, I can give you 1 more, I can give you 2 more, whatever.
Line drive, caught by Jimmy. And there's the first out. Well, speaking of pitching, that brings us to our Geico quote of the day. It comes from Jason Worth on Cliff Lee. He's a for real ace. He's that type of guy, a shutdown guy. You can go out and control the game. Look at what he's done since he's been here. That's pretty remarkable. That's the kind of stuff he brings to the table. You get a run on the board for a guy like that, you're in good shape. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The Phillies not only got a run, they got 5 runs in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, you notice too, though, he is working that curveball a lot more. The times that he ended up getting hurt, they were mostly on fastballs, and he wasn't able to get away from it. Now he seems to be throwing that breaking ball a lot more than he did as he throws a cutter. Looks like a pretty good pitch there.
Fourth inning was his problem inning when he walked the bases loaded. Let's see, he threw 27 pitches in that one alone. But other than that, he has been, he's been unbelievable. He has 4 innings, including this one, of 9 pitches or less.
Yeah.
Broke his bat, 1 hopper right at Jimmy. Zimmerman hustling, but Jimmy throws him out for out number 2.
Another indication how that cutter is coming in on the hands, exploding the bats. That's the pitch that he wants to get on those right-handers when they're swinging. Now watch this as it comes in right on his hands there. He tries to get his hands through. That ball is just cutting in on him, not able to get the barrel, and once you catch it, it's another thing Zimmerman doesn't do well is run. It's about the only thing.
Well, 2 down. Here's Adam Dunn. He's 0 for 1. Walked his last time up, flied out to right. And that one's outside. 2-2 the count to Dunn.
Dunn kind of looked back like, wow, I can't believe that's a strike. But you like the idea, though, that he's mixing in a lot more of those curveballs to just give that hitter something else to think about.
That's the thing. I mean, he has 6 pitches that he could use during the course of a game. 6. When let's say 4 of them are working well, that's really good. When he can get the 5th and 6th working, well, yeah, that really confuses the hitters.
Yeah, it really does. And then you put them in a defensive mode where they're not really trying to swing the bat with authority. Good pitch.
Just got a piece of it.
But you like the way, though, that he changes his game plan. I mean, before all fastballs, this one off speed. And look at the break that he gets on that curveball. Well, the early games when he was winning, he mixed in a few curveballs, but it was mostly the cutter and the changeup that he was getting a lot of the hitters out on.
And on the hands toward right field, that's going to drop in front of Jason. So first hit of the night for Adam Dunn. And the 4th hit allowed by Cliff Lee. And then I'll bring Josh Willingham to the plate. Lee, among major league pitchers this year, came into tonight's ball game 17th in earned run average. It was a 3.11 when the night began. 6th in innings pitched, and that's going to change after tonight. He is over 200 innings for the season. In fact, overall this year, 13-11 with a 3.13 earned run average. He has been a horse. And he's going to get out of this inning as there's a roller to shortstop. And they'll go the short way to second. The inning comes to a close. Lee strands one. We've played 5.5 for the Phillies in total control of 5-0. WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. By McDonald's, introducing new Angus burgers made with juicy 100% Angus beef, available with premium toppings in 3 varieties for just $3.99. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By Acura Advance. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. Well, beautiful night here in Philadelphia. Phillies lead 5-0. Game 1 of 3 against the Nationals. And Pedro Feliz takes the first pitch up, so it's 1-0. Pedro tonight is 0 for 1. He walked and scored his first time up. Went down looking on strikes. His last time to the plate against Garrett Mock, who's now pitching into the 6th inning. Changeup off the end of the bat. And Mock is off the hill, so 1 away. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, you see the Marlins are in St. Louis to take on Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals. And it's kind of interesting. You know, the Phillies have this 7-game lead over Florida, 7.5 over Atlanta. They also trail St. Louis and Los Angeles in the overall scheme for home field in the postseason. And somebody asked me today, Sarge, you know, who do you root for in that game between Florida and St. Louis?
Well, it's plain and simple for me. I'm rooting right for St. Louis.
Yep, that's what I said,
all the
too.
way. I mean, there's just, you know, you want to make sure you're in. I don't want to see them get to where they're 2 games out or, oh no. I hope that St. Louis beats them 3 straight.
Well, they've already beaten them in the opener. 2-0 the count. Carlos has a 3-run double his first time up. You know, we mentioned home field advantage. It was so important for the Phillies last year when they defeated Milwaukee, defeated LA. You kind of get the feeling that you know, that's going to take care of itself.
Well, you know what? I agree with that too. And again, these guys that have been through the wars before, sure, the home field with everything being equal, yes, you would like to have it. But the fact is, you would rather have your pitching staff stacked the way that you want, and the earlier you can get it done, the better. Whoa.
That one's hit hard to left, heading toward the pole. It is a foul ball. Man, right into that well, just to the left of the pole.
Just ran out of gas. That line drive was going and headed out of the ballpark. Take a look at this. Ruiz getting the head out, catching it on the end just a little bit as it starts to hook, and clearly you can see the ball. It just ran out of gas as he hooked it down the left field line.
Bring it to the count to Carlos. Towards center field. And Maxwell makes a diving grab. He grabbed it right off the top of the grass.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a play right there.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. He can catch the ball. His only thing will be whether or not he's going to be able to hit up in the major leagues. He's got a fine arm, moves from left to right. You can see he comes in, and he plays a short center field. He plays shallow. Doesn't play deep. As he comes in, he does catch that ball coming in again and keeps his eye right on it. You can see him catching it right in the web.
With Lee behind the count 0-1.
Take another look at it as he comes in and just catches it no problem. Mocks in, way to go.
And Lee is down on strikes. A breaking ball. It's a 1-2-3 6th inning for Garrett Mock, who has surrendered 5 through the first 6. Got helped out by Justin Maxwell here in the bottom of the 6th.
Good game here tonight for Cliff Lee and the Phillies. Phillies building up an early 5-0 lead, and they've been riding that one ever since. Garrett Mock, just like he did against the Phillies last week, gave up some runs early, then kind of settled down. Chase Utley, an RBI hit. Carlos Ruiz, the big bases loaded clearing double, scored 3, and Cliff Lee has been real solid tonight. The one thing that was kind of weird was walking the bases loaded in that one inning, but you know, it did seem like it was kind of tight down there around that strike zone.
He kept looking in. At one point, Joe West said something to Carlos Ruiz like, you know, what is he saying out there? And Carlos, I don't think, answered him at all. And Cliff kept walking around the mound. He doesn't say a whole lot. He is unbelievably competitive, which is great to have at the top of a rotation. Elijah Dukes leads it off here at the top of the 7th, and he takes a pitch way outside, 1-0. Dukes tonight is 0 for 1. He walked his last time up. Really, that inning where he walked the 3 is the only time he's fallen behind hitters consistently. I mean, he's been working ahead of just about every guy that he has faced.
And those pitches were close. You know, he walked them, and they probably weren't strikes, but, you know, they were the kind of pitches sometimes guys will chase.
And Jimmy's been busy these last couple of innings, charging that one away.
Well, that's a lot better for Cliff Lee in this ballpark to get ground balls as opposed to that one inning when you throw a couple deep fly balls, because better be a ground ball pitcher here if you can be.
Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. One away for Josh Bard. He was the final strikeout victim in that bases loaded situation in the 4th.
Threw him a good curveball to strike him out.
And the count, no balls and 1 strike to him.
Started him with a curveball that time. Lee's used all his pitches tonight. And you see 6 ground outs now with the 7 fly balls. 3 of those in 1 inning. 3 fly balls in 1 inning.
Another breaking pitch.
Well, Bard hurt him with a fastball and doubled his first time up. And he spotted him a couple fastballs, but now it's like he's saying, go ahead, hit this thing.
Oh, it's no balls and 2 strikes now that count to Bard. With 1 away here in the top of the 7th. Another curve, and it's 1-2.
Well, he threw him all those off-speed pitches, and then he goes away with what looked like a changeup. And he's really working on Bard right now, not throwing him many fastballs.
At the knees, a call. Strike 3.
That was going to happen if he threw him a fastball.
Yeah.
Probably going to freeze him, and that thing was right down the middle. Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, change up, and then here's your fastball. And what happens? He just freezes.
Well, 6 strikeouts now for Lee. The leadoff double by Bard. He has not really seen too many good pitches. Or hasn't really taken too many good swings at some of those pitches.
Well, this is a guy last week who I saw 3 pitches and hit 3 doubles off him. Gonzalez, and he just took one. He really hurt Cliff in that game.
Broke his bat on that one, it sounded like, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. There's that bat picked up by Mike Morse, who's in the on-deck circle. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Red Sox lead the Angels 2-0. That game's in the top of the 7th inning.
A couple of teams that could be playing in October after the regular season.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Rays have been eliminated from the postseason. So the Red Sox now have to deal with basically the Texas Rangers in the race for the wild card right now.
Yeah. Tampa Bay kind of blew themselves. Well, they were struggling anyway, but then they lost 11 in a row. And that was it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Alberto Gonzalez. The other race that's tightening too now is the wild card of the National League. Colorado's lost 3 straight games.
They got Lincecum last night. Oh, was he good?
Well, tonight it's Jimenez against Barry Zito. Here's the American League wild card and the way it looks coming into play tonight. Red Sox lead the Rangers by 4.5. Boy, Texas is good this year. Gonzalez pops it up foul. And it remains 2-2. Meanwhile, in the National League, San Francisco is within 3.5. As we said, they'll play Colorado again tonight. Florida 5.5 out. Atlanta 6 games out. And the Cubs, they're just sitting there 6.5 out. Toward third base, glove side scoop by Pedro Feliz. That's a fine pickup on both ends. Did he get it? Yes, he did. He pulled it out of the air before Gonzalez reached first base, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Nationals. It's time to stretch here in Philadelphia. This play will get you to stretch a little bit. Get up and cheer for Pedro Feliz and Ryan Howard. Fans trivia quiz answer. Who was the last Philly to win the Paul Owens Award for the best minor league player while playing third base? Wheels, you got an answer for that one?
Well, you would think it would be Scott Rowland, but it's probably a trick question. But I got to go with Rowland because I can't think of who else it would be.
You would be?
See,
you're on the right path, though, thinking Scott Rowland.
Well, yeah, of course. The third baseman.
Because at one time, Chase Utley was playing third base in the minor leagues in 2002. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
That's right.
Somebody was supposed to take over for Scott at one point.
Yeah, one spring training they tried to do a little bit of that. That didn't go over real well.
Saul Rivera will take over for the Nationals here at the top of the 7th inning. His 23rd game, 0-3, a 5.52 ERA. And the bottom of the 7th, excuse me, Jimmy Rollins.
Chase was a third baseman. That's right. He was a shortstop in college.
The great thing about Chase that year, and I remember talking about this, is that even with his adjustments to third base, and he did have to adjust to the throw more than anything else, he just kept on hitting in Scranton.
Well, they knew he was going to be a big league hitter. They just didn't know where they were going to be able to play him. And Polanco was here playing second at the time, and Roland was, Scott wanted out. He wanted to get out of here. You could feel that coming, so that's why they tried to make Chase a third baseman.
1-2 the count to Jimmy. Toward first base, Dunn scoops it up. And one away here in the bottom of the 7th. Well, we continue to circle around the ballpark and say thank you to all the folks who have helped us out so much this year. Art Riley, who is down in the dugout right now. He's one of our audio assistants. Art from Roxborough, PA. Most memorable game, the 2008 World Series Game 4. It was loud here that night. Art always used to do and still does a great job making sure that everything is taken care of from an audio standpoint here at the ballpark. And when I used to run around the park doing the man in the stand stuff, he and Joe Kennedy were always a huge asset. So thanks, Art. Art can also make some barbecue rub too. Got a little of that going for him.
There's so many guys around. It's great to feature them because there's so many men and women around here who do such a great job behind the scenes. We really appreciate what they do. And Art's just another guy that does a great job along with Joe.
Over the mound, could be a tough play. Guzman tries to hurry and he doesn't get Victorino. Nice job by Shane to hustle that one out, and he's got an infield single. So the Phillies have a base runner here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Jim Riggleman's going to head out to the mound. And Shane smelled a hit here.
Yeah, well, when you're a left-handed hitter and you can run and you hit a ball like that, you're on your way as you hit it. And Guzman, boy, he makes a heck of a play here. Watch a quick, well, you're not going to see it on this end, but Shane hustling down the line. But Guzman here it comes. Watch the quick flip he makes. Transfer, flip. He did everything he could, and Shane just beat the play.
So we've got a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. Saul Rivera faces 2 batters. His night is done. Left-hander coming into the game for the Nationals. On first thanks to an infield single that sends Saul Rivera to the dugout, and Shane just chit-chatting away with Adam Dunn over there at first base. Ron Valona's the new pitcher. 54th game, 4-5, a 4.20 earned run average, and he's on because Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, and Raul Ibanez are due up. Chase is 1 for 3 tonight. He has singled home a run. He's flied out to left 2 different times. Chase and Raul have not been bothered by left-handers this year. In fact, Chase has 11 home runs against lefties this season. And he takes the first pitch for a strike on the outside corner. That's one of the best things he has done as his career has blossomed, is that he has maintained a level of consistency that few from the left side have been able to maintain against left-handed pitching. And it all comes down to the fact that he just doesn't give ground.
Yeah, and another advantage he has, Tom, as you say, he doesn't give ground. He's got that little short swing.
Yep.
And he can even get fooled and bail a little bit and still stay back enough to hit a pitch off a left-handed pitcher. Hit a good pitch off a left-handed pitcher. And then when they make a mistake to him, he can crush it. But if you have a big swing, it's a lot harder to do that. And he has that little short swing.
I mean, 284 against lefties, 42 home runs. That's pretty good.
That's outstanding. Very, very good. Because today, in this age of specialization, he's seeing a lot of left-handed late guys that come in to face him for one reason, because that's the left-hander in the bullpen, and that's his job. They come in and face an Utley, Howard, and of course this year, Ibanez. But not like those numbers are up there against starting pitchers necessarily. There's a lot of relief at bats in there for relief specialists designed to just get him out.
Two and one the count as Bard scoops that one up.
Not over shifting Chase with the three fielders this time because of the left-handed pitcher, leaving the shortstop Guzman on the shortstop side in case he hits the ball through towards the middle or on that left side of the infield.
Victorino goes, pitches pulled to the right side, and the second out is recorded. Phillies get a runner in scoring position, and two away. He got a pretty good pitch to hit there too.
He did. He got something middle in. He was able to pull it right into the defense.
So Chase is retired.
Here it is. You see where it was, right down the middle, or even a little bit in. And that's a great pitch for a left-handed hitter to hit. It was a fastball, and Chase hit it right on the nose.
See what Ryan has done against Ron Malone. Just 1 for 11 against him. Trying to get this sold out crowd, at least on the first base side, behind Ryan Howard. The count 1 ball and no strikes. And Ryan swings and misses. It's 1-1. Phillies this year have hit 27 home runs against Washington. They had 8 in the 3-game series down at Nationals Park last week. As a team, they're hitting right around 300 against them, which is really telling for the success they've had. best things, though, is their on-base percentage is higher against the Nationals than against a lot of other teams that they've faced. And you see they're just 5 off of the most homers in one season against one team. That was in 06 against the Marlins.
And they open the season with them next year in Washington. That schedule was officially announced today. And that should be fun. And maybe Steven Strasburg will be in their rotation next year at the beginning of the year. Who knows how he goes through spring training and what they want to do with him, whether they want him to, whether he's ready to go right away, whether he's going to need some minor league time. But there'll be some intrigue involved in that going to spring training next year.
And Jim Riggleman's hoping that he's back as the manager of the Nationals next year. Steven Strasburg is about to head to Instructional League with the Washington Nationals and will be there the end of this month until the back end of October. Or the middle of October, I should say.
And then Washington will be here right after that. So if that guy's pitching early in the season next year, we'll have a chance to see him.
Yeah, the Phillies start with the series in Washington and then they go to Houston.
Yeah. That's right on the way for the home opener. Kind of like last year, Philadelphia, Denver, Washington.
I will say, though, that although they have the games in Washington to start the year, it is, with the weather being as it is in the Northeast early on, it's not bad to go to Houston that early in the season.
That's true, because you're going to play. You may even get your wish and see the roof open.
First time.
Yep. I know you talked about that last time. It'll be open in April if it's not raining.
Here's ball 4, and Ryan draws a 2-out walk, so he's aboard along with Victorino. And here comes Raul Ibanez. Well, the Houston Astros and the Phillies will wind down the final homestand of the regular season here at the ballpark for 4. Marlins come to town for 3. But the first game's already sold out. The last 3 games of that series, all 3 at 7:05. There are tickets still available. So log on to Phillies.com. Who knows what September will hold for the Phillies and emotions, everything going on here at the ballpark. See what Raul has done tonight. His double, his 31st of the year.
They have a lot of pitchers available, and trying to figure out some things for next year, who they can use, who's part of their ball club, who their situation guys will be. And that's why Jim Riggleman's using a lot of different guys in these games. Now, whether or not he's their manager or not, that's still up in the air. Whether he's just a caretaker right now or whether he'll take over their club.
He was a caretaker last year in Seattle. And Raul Ibanez was part of that team. And Raul's saying that ball hit his foot, but Adam Dunn's going to finish off the play. And right now the inning is over. Raul wants Joe West to ask for some help. He's saying that ball hit his foot. It's not like Raul Ibanez just to stand as the ball goes up the first base line in fair territory.
No, he's not that kind of guy, too, that's going to try and beg something like that. He thinks it hit his foot.
He didn't. Paul Nart didn't see it. He's the third base umpire. Cliff Lee is coming out to the mound. Let's take a look at it real quick. Ibanez says he fouled it off his foot. Did he?
Yep.
Looked like he did.
He sure did.
But he's retired. to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly. By your local Chevy dealers. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Top of the 8th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Cliff Lee will get set to face Mike Morse, who's a pinch hitter for the Nationals. Lee, through 7 innings so far, has allowed just 4 hits, no runs. He had the bases loaded back in the 4th, but that really has been his only tough inning. Let's take a look at that last play. Raul Ibanez contends this ball hit his foot, and it did.
Yeah. And Raul Ibanez is not one of those guys that's going to stand there and cause a stink like this if it didn't hit his foot. You know, some guys might try and beg it and act and all that, but he felt the ball hit his foot. It was like, come on, just ask.
Yeah, he's still stewing about it out in left field. Paul Nart, the third base umpire, says he didn't see it.
Well, they are, you know, to me, you know players in the league, and the umpire should bend the other way with a guy like an Ibanez and think he's not going to stand up here and put on a show unless he thinks that ball really hit his foot. Some guys might, some guys might try, who knows. But in Ibanez's case, he's an honest guy in everything he does, and the ball obviously hit his foot. Now, maybe it's not that big a deal, but it is. It's an at-bat, and it's nice to see how much he cared about it.
There's a broken bat. Bat goes out past Jimmy Rollins, and it's a foul ball. And the count remains 1-2.
Boy, Lee can break some bats.
Well, the other thing, too, about the Raul play is that sometimes the umpire will take a look at the ball to see if there's some shoe polish on it as well.
Sure, they kind of came to a decision and stuck with it, and they were wrong. And sometimes they're wrong.
Now I say that they check it for shoe polish, or at least maybe a scrape of paint from the cleat, because I'm not sure if they put shoe polish on the shoes anymore. I know they clean them real good.
Well, I still think something would come off. It still has a chance for something to come off the leather and all. So yeah, I mean, there's a few things could have been done there that weren't done, and that's unfortunate. Because the old thing is try and get it right, and in that case, it wasn't right.
1-2 the count to Mike Morse. And he's down on strikes. Another good breaking pitch. And Ruiz applies the tag. 7th strikeout of the evening for Cliff Lee.
This is Cliff Lee we saw in the first few games that he pitched here. He's really got good stuff tonight. And he's used his curveball effectively. We've seen him some games just use his cutter and slider a lot, fastballs, sometimes just changeups is his out pitch. Tonight his curveball is very effective to a lot of these right-handed hitters.
100 pitches now for Cliff. And with 1 away here in the 8th inning, back to the top of the order. And Justin Maxwell takes a strike at the knees. Cliff Lee has now thrown 214 in the 3rd innings this year. We mentioned he came into this ball game in the top 10 in innings pitched overall in the big leagues. And he is just painting right there.
Oh, he's good tonight. And they gave him some early runs, and he's run real well. They had some leads last week, and Washington wasn't able to hang on. Well, he hung on, but they still were able to come after him in some innings. And tonight, he has really gotten after this lineup.
Back toward the middle, a base hit for Maxwell. So that's his 2nd hit of the day. And overall, just the 5th hit for Washington.
See if the phone rings out there in the bullpen, or they think he's going to want him to pitch the 9th inning anyway because of all these innings that he's had. And you see Mick
he saw Rich Doobie getting up and go to the phone.
Well, he knew it was going to happen. So there they go.
See that Phillies bullpen. Clay Condrey, who's sitting there next to Jamie Moyer in the pen. Clay was activated before the ball game today. Ryan Matson's going to get his glove. So Condrey's available. Kyle Kendrick is there in the bullpen. Jamie's in the bullpen. I asked Kyle today, I said, do you know what the plans are over the next few days for you? And he said, no, I'm just going to sit in the bullpen tonight with Jamie and You know, Charlie will tell me in the next couple of days, and he was still feeling pretty good about what he did on Sunday afternoon. And what he also said, he said that the response that the fans gave him was just unbelievable on Sunday.
Well, he earned it. You know, the fans here, they're going to support you. And they wanted him to go out there and pitch well because that game was huge on Sunday. And he did. Kyle did a great job. And nothing like positive energy coming from the home crowd. And there was a lot of that here on Sunday. Day and night.
Oh, the night electricity was unbelievable with Pedro here. So with Matson loosening up behind him, Cliff Lee will face Ryan Zimmerman. There's Pedro. And there's a strike to Zimmerman. Toward right center field, Jason Worth comes under it. He waits, and Cliff Lee has thrown 8 shutout innings tonight here at Citizens Bank Park. He strands one. We go to the bottom of the 8th. A Fanatic About Reading program presented by Verizon. This free program for grades K through 8 encourages children to read for 15 minutes a day and includes bookmarks, pencils, coloring sheets, and the opportunity to win a Fanatic visit for your school. Email FanDev, that's DEV, at Phillies.com or call 215-463-1000 for more information. Cliff Lee in between innings put a towel over his arm. Rich Doobie came over and I think was trying to take his temperature as to whether he should go out and pitch the 9th inning. Nobody is up and loosening, and Lee has gone 8 innings, 7 strikeouts, and 5 hits allowed during those 8 innings. Just a tad over 100 pitches tonight, and we'll see. Logan Kensing into his 25th game, no wins, 2 losses.
Well, he never wants to leave a game, Cliff Lee. He thinks when the game starts he's supposed to pitch 9 innings.
We've talked about this. I mean, for the most part, since the All-Star break, the Phillies starters have done a fantastic job going very deep into games and doing it consistently. first half, they were averaging about 5 2/3 per outing.
But they're a little concerned about Lee that he's pitched so many innings. You gave the numbers right there, but maybe not so concerned that he's not going to pitch another one.
Jason Worth takes a fastball inside.
He did look a little bit arm weary in maybe some of those other games, but you know, he's come back strong tonight.
How about this? Starters have pitched 6 or more innings in 43 of 57 games and 7 or more in 27 of 57 games.
That's good. In today's game, that's really good. And then, of course, the back end of your bullpen has to hold up the deal, and unfortunately, that hasn't been real good lately. Last year, lights out.
Sounds like a T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a few of them around, weren't there?
Yes, there were. Back toward the middle, a rope by Jason Worth to start this 8th inning. That's 3 hits tonight for Jason.
It's another good swing by him, too. It hit the ball right back through the middle. Here's a look at it. Fastball out over the plate a little bit, right back through the middle. Good hitting. Nice level, nice swing there by Jason Worth. Stayed in real well.
Pedro Feliz is 0 for 2. And he's ahead 1 ball and no strikes. Toward the hole at shortstop. Nice play by Zimmerman. There's 1 and there's 2. And around the horn, a tough one. Double play, 5-4-3. And there are 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
Ryan Zimmerman kind of gets lost on this team because they're not real successful. He could really play third base. He had a short hop, and then he just gets rid of it. Look at the hop he has to handle, right? That's really a tough hop. It hit the cutout, in fact. There's a good play on the other end by Dunn, too, and a good pivot by the second baseman Gonzalez. But that play by Zimmerman, he made that look easy. And there's a lot of guys, that ball hits it cutout like that, it's going to handcuff them, let alone turn it into a double play.
Carlos Ruiz tonight is 1 for 2, or 1 for 3, excuse me. He has the big hit tonight, that chopping double that cleared the bases in the second.
Yeah, because they've shut it down since then. There's your answer about Lee, probably. Looks like they're going to bring somebody in, whether it's Madsen or Walker.
One and one the count to Carlos. Cliff is in the on deck circle. Maybe he said to Rich, all right, I'll come out, but you got to let me hit.
Yeah, maybe it's not your answer about him. Maybe he's, who knows? We'll see. Carlos Ruiz gets on that, then we'll know. Charlie was funny talking about it. What happened with him and Pedro out there the other night when he went out there. You got anything left?
Yeah, I'm going to throw this change up, and Ruiz is going to block it and then throw the guy out of third.
Yeah. There's Pedro, and Charlie said, you know, I almost made my mind up when I walked out there. I wasn't going to take him out. I really was going to leave him in. I wanted to hear what he had to say, and then when I looked in his eyes, he was staying in. That game was so much fun the other night. You know, people don't like 1-0 game, or, you know, a lot of offense. That 1-0 game was electric. And that guy made it unbelievable to watch.
And he threw today, so he seems to be okay. A lot of people were wondering about that. Ruiz lines one toward left field. That's pretty deep, and that's going to be off the base of the wall. Carlos heading to second. The throw by Willingham, not in time. And Carlos has his second double of the night.
Well, he finally hit one they couldn't capture. It stayed fair. He's been peppering that area all night tonight. Willingham robbed him of one. He hit one just foul, and now he hits that one off the wall. Logan Kensing hangs a slider right in the middle of the plate. And Carlos one-hops it off the wall, gets himself a double, and Cliff Lee will bat. There he is. He just makes it ahead of that throw to Gonzalez.
24 doubles now for Carlos, including 2 tonight. Let's see if the Phillies can get an insurance run here against Logan Kensing, who did a nice job bouncing back after being waived by the Florida Marlins. The Nationals picked him up. He pitched a couple of games in the big leagues before he went down and saved 17 games in AAA. And they think maybe he found somewhat of his calling because he performed quite well at AAA in that role. Not to say that he's going to be a closer in the big leagues, but maybe he refined some things where he can at least be a setup guy. It's the guy who was a starter in the Marlins organization.
Yeah, he's been hit hard lately. That's one of the reasons why he had to go to the minor leagues, trying to figure some things out. He's kind of a short arm sinker slider type guy.
Here's Pedro enjoying his night off. Cole Hamels, Joe Blanton. Three balls and 1 strike to count to Lee.
I think Pedro's getting a kick out of Lee right now. Well, he's up there. Lee approaches. He gives better at bats than some regular players. He's more intense. He never gives an at bat away. Look at him chewing that gum. He's fun to watch.
If you think about it, too, Wheels, the fact that he's won 6 games, Pedro's won 5.
He's enjoying this. Pedro has such a feel for the game. He enjoys competition.
And Lee is called out on strikes. He thought maybe he had worked out a walk, but he's down looking for the second time tonight. Phillies stranded runner in scoring position. Pedro Martinez and everybody else will have a smile on their faces. Cliff Lee goes back to work in the 8th with Adam Dunn leading it off. The Phillies lead it 5-0, and Cliff Lee is going for his 13th career complete game and his 4th career shutout. And he's been on top of his game tonight.
He sure has. Right from the start, you could see he had it. He is using everything tonight: sliders, cutters, changeups, fastballs, up and down, in and out, and a really good curveball. Maybe the best curveball we've seen him throw since he's come over here. You see all these curveballs he's thrown. He got swings and misses on. Just an outstanding 8 innings, and they're giving him a chance to pitch a shutout.
Overall this year, Cliff Lee has won 13 games, and he is going for his 14th victory of the year. And if you watched him in Cleveland to start this year when they weren't scoring a whole lot of runs for him, I don't know from a distance if you thought he would win 14 games this season. But Charlie Manuel has liked the fact that he's come over here and he's thrown strikes. They do have Ryan Matson up and loosening just in case. Tyler Walker was up as well. He just walked off the mound. Adam Dunn will lead things off for the Nationals.
Well, Dunn makes him throw pitches. That's one thing about Adam Dunn. You see, he's walked. He had a base hit on a deep count.
The Braves have already won tonight. They defeated the Mets 6-0. So the Phillies' lead against Atlanta will remain at 7.5 if they win this one. And you see Lee, 7 more innings and 21 starts. Yeah, that counts tonight. In the air to left field. A mile high. It gives the Ibanez plenty of time to wait. And there's one away here in the top of the 9th inning. So Lee needs 2 more outs to finish off the Nationals in this game. Josh Willingham 0 for 3. A fly out, a strikeout, and a fielder's choice. Lee has done a nice job against the middle of this order. Only Dunn has reached base.
Yeah, and you look at this Washington team with their record, you think they're easy pickings. They're not, because they can hit. This is a really good lineup as far as swinging the bats. And Cliff Lee has just put it to them here tonight.
They came in with a .264 team batting average.
And a lot of home runs and extra base hits.
1 ball, 1 strike the count on the Toyota Major League scoreboard. The Cardinals have scored a run against the Marlins. It's 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. They had the bases loaded and nobody out. Now there are 2 outs with runners on first and second. Albert Pujols has a couple hits and an RBI. 1-2 the count. He tied him up with a fastball.
Well, that's what he does to right-handed hitters. You know, he's broken 2 or 3 bats here tonight. He's done that tonight, and then he's thrown some curveballs to these right-handed hitters and gotten them to chase. One of them Willingham. Like Carlos just called changeup. That was another breaking ball.
And there's a base hit for Josh Willingham. So he's aboard. Ibanez gets to it quickly and holds him to a 1-out single. Well, tonight on Sports Night, more details on Jeff Garcia's return to the Eagles roster. Plus, John Borick reports from the ballpark on this series. And get all the news Philly fans need to know. That's tonight after Phillies postgame live, only on Comcast Sportsnet. 1 out, runner on first. And he just blows one right by Elijah Dukes. Lee has 2 complete games with the Phillies so far this year. Overall this season, he has 5 complete games. And it's 1-1 to Dukes. You would think this is his last batter if he winds up losing Dukes, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Getting close.
He's at 119 pitches. Charlie giving him a chance to pitch here in the 9th, but he wants an easy 9th inning. To right field, it's deep, but it's going to go foul. And 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Dukes. Ryan Matson up and tossing in the pen. The inside corner, called strike 3, 93 right on the black.
Well, that's amazing. He still has that much left. And the way he can come inside on right-handed hitters and freeze them. A little off on that for a couple starts, but he's back at it now. You know, they just don't expect to pitch inside like that. And it's right on the corner. As you said, that was 93. And it just freezes a hitter.
So here's Josh Bard with 2 away. And he's ahead, no balls and 1 strike. Bard doubled his first time up, but since that time, he's been down on strikes twice. 8 strikeouts in the game for Cliff Lee. His season high is 11. That was against Arizona in a Phillies uniform. Time was called by Bard just as Lee was coming to the plate. He had his head down, so he wasn't looking. Pepping it up. 93 again. 0-2 the count. This crowd coming to their feet with 2 away here at the top of the 9th inning. Got it. High fastball swung on and missed, and Cliff Lee has thrown his 3rd complete game in a Phillies uniform. Not only that, it's his first shutout in a Phillies uniform, and why not? Lee and Ruiz are Chevrolet players of the game. Lee, for his 9 strikeouts over 9 innings, has shut out